Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 131 of the Dear Herbalist podcast titled Herbal First Aid versus Modern ER, Knowing the Boundaries of Herbal Medicine. My name is Justaria, and if you are new here, welcome. And if you are a returning listener, as always, thank you so much for your continued listen as well as your support. Now, I was looking at my analytics and I noticed that I have quite a few people listening in, and you guys know I appreciate you, but not as many subscribing. I do have subscribers, don't get me wrong, but I would like to balance out those numbers. So guess what? I'm inviting each and every one of you to please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as well as take a listen on Spotify. I always appreciate your support. Tonight we're going to talk about something I believe that every herbalist and honestly really every household really needs to think about. And that is herbal first aid versus the modern emergency room. Now I know a lot of people on both sides of this conversation, so understand where I'm going to be coming from, okay? Some folks think that herbs can fix anything. They'll be like, why do I even have to go to the ER if I got plants in my backyard? And then there are others who believe that herbs are nothing more than folklore. And they'll be like, why waste time with the tea when the hospital's right over there, right? But the truth is, both perspectives are missing the bigger picture. Because the real power comes when we understand the strengths and the limits of each system. When we know exactly where the herbs shine and do their thing, and where modern medicine is absolutely essential. Now, I tell people all the time, I don't want to be anti-doctor for every single thing. I really do think that emergency medicine has done some valuable things. Do I agree with everything? No. Okay, but like I said, if you get your leg chopped off, okay, for whatever reason, maybe it was a farming accident or something, you're not going to want to go run to the bushes to wrap up a leaf or something around your leg and, go from there. No, a lot of times, from what I can observe, there's a lot of herbalists out there that really have just a basic knowledge of herbal medicine, where they need the big knowledge of herbal formulation and a deeper understanding of how the human body works so that they can create emergency herbal first aid and these type of things. But a lot of people don't have that deep understanding of herbal medicine like that. Some do, but a lot don't. So that's why I feel like emergency medicine has made some strides in being able to care for people for emergency needs. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know somebody's going to be like, see, she about the doctors and she da-da-da-da. Don't do that, people. Don't put words in my mouth. So let's first of all, because like I said, I'm an educator, I'm an herbalist educator. Let's define first aid, all right? And the ER. Okay, let's start with some definitions. What exactly is first aid? First aid is immediate, short-term care that you give right on the spot when someone is hurt or suddenly sick. The goal of that point isn't necessarily to cure in certain instances, and it isn't long-term treatment. Okay, this is a first aid. The goal is to stabilize, to comfort, to address, and to prevent the situation from getting worse until more help is available. Now that might look like cleaning and bandaging a small cut or applying a cool compress to a mild burn or insect bites. That may be giving fluids to someone who might be overheated or even just sitting with someone who is in shock and making sure that they feel safe. So first aid for herbalists, and I don't want to get ahead of myself, can be addressing certain issues, right? But they're simplified. So now let's contrast that with the emergency room. Now, the emergency room exists for one reason, and that is to save lives in urgent, high-risk situations. So when you walk into an ER, you're entering into a space that is equipped with machines and other type of things, trained staff who are all prepared for the worst. And so they're handling a variety of different things like heart attacks and strokes, severe allergic reactions, major injuries from accidents, uncontrolled bleeding or head traumas, severe infections that spread very fast, difficulty breathing, seizures, and anything that may threaten life at that moment. So in the ER, time is everything. Precision is everything. This is the realm where no herbal tea or poultice or tincture can replace what modern emergency medicine can provide in that particular critical moment. Again, if you're an herbalist that understands the in-depth things, could you address some of these things that I talked about from the ER? Potentially, right? Potentially. But it does come with a lot of education and training behind that, because it could go very wrong if you don't have that. All right. So where does that leave what we call herbal first aid? Now, herbal first aid is when we bring plants into that first line of care. So, for example, calendula or plantain for a scrape, or aloe vera for a mild burn, chamomile tea for a restless child, let's say ginger for some stomach issues, or elderflower for early stages of a cold. Okay, addressing those type of things. But let me be clear. All right, let me be clear. This does not mean that herbs are limited to just simple issues. All right. Herbs can be powerful agents in the healing process. They can absolutely address infections, viral illnesses, autoimmune conditions, metabolic disorders, and even support people dealing with cancers, right? They can help stabilize chronic situations when they are formulated properly. And they can also shift the terrain of the body in ways that pharmaceuticals often cannot. And that is because herbs have multiple different chemical compounds that exist within them that can target multiple areas of the body at the exact same time. Whereas pharmaceuticals tend to target one particular issue or one particular molecule or one particular part of the body. You see what I'm saying? So the distinction here is timing and the scope. This is what we're talking about, bottom line. Herbs are incredible for everyday first aid, for comfort, for healing inside out, for balancing, right? And addressing issues that are outside of immediate life-threatening crisis. Herbs also play a vital role in chronic care as well as long-term stability, where slow, steady shifts in the body's physiology as well as the constitution makes the difference between wellness and them contracting an illness. In the ER, on the other hand, it is designed for acute, critical, life or death moments. So that there has to be a distinction between the two. So when we say herbal first aid versus the emergency room, what we're really saying is herbs and the ER operate in different lanes. Herbs can offer both immediate comfort and long-term transformation, and the ER delivers immediate rescue when someone's life is on the line. Both are very essential. Both are very essential. And knowing the boundary between them is a matter of wisdom and responsibility. Because as herbalists, sometimes when we advocate, we can be very passionate about herbs and what we know, and we know how they've helped people and they've addressed people's issues. We can be so passionate sometimes that we're blinded to understanding boundaries. What can happen? How far can herbs really go? These type of things. So we don't want to be so blinded by the passion that we have to really be able to help people balance out their bodies and, get healed and all these other things, that we forget that there are certain things that herbs may not be able to immediately address. Okay? That's the reality of it, no matter how you slice it. So let's talk about, since we're talking about herbs, right? And I am an herbalist. Let's talk about where herbs shine, right? Now that we've drawn that line, let's talk about the places where herbs really do their thing. The practical everyday scenarios where plants are your best allies. One, in wound care. So you can use a lot of different herbs to address wound care issues like calendula, yarrow, plantain, all to help clean and close and soothe small cuts, scrapes. I mean, people are cutting themselves, falling, tripping and falling, especially if you got kids. Always hurting themselves, always scraping up against something. So herbs can address that. Mild burns or sunburn. So aloe vera gel. And there's a lot of herbs out there and a lot of different things that could address mild burns. But you can also use diluted lavender oil, which cools and supports the skin's healing process, right? Then you have colds and fevers. So different teas and tinctures and yarrow and linden, which help the body sweat gently to bring comfort during a mild fever. And then any type of respiratory irritation. So thyme and eucalyptus steam inhalations, which actually open up the airways and support recovery from a simple cough or a cold. And then, of course, our emotional, right? Emotional calming, chamomile, lemon balm, rose tea. These type of things can bring comfort during stressful or anxious moments. So these issues that I just spoke about don't necessarily need an ER visit, but they do need to be addressed. And so herbs can often give a better, more holistic result rather than reaching for a chemical-laden cream or some kind of syrup. Now, where do we stop with herbs, right? Where are the limitations here? We need to talk about the flip side where we need to pause. Herbs need to be like, you know. There are times when you do not hesitate, right? You have to call 911. You have to get to them to the ER, tell them to get to the ER. You let modern medicine do its job. That's the lane that we talked about. And that includes any type of chest pains or signs of a heart attack, sudden weaknesses, slurred speech, stroke symptoms, severe allergic reactions, especially during like if they have trouble breathing, large gaping wounds, heavy bleeding, broken bones, head injuries, seizures, severe dehydration, or very high fevers in infants. Okay. Could herbs support someone after these incidents happen? Absolutely. Can herbs work with the body to try to prevent the reason why some of these things occur? Absolutely. But in the moment, right? Relying only on herbs, especially if you don't have the full knowledge of what they can do and how they can act on the system, they could cost someone their life. And no matter how much of a super herbalist that you are, if somebody dies on your watch, that is something that you will never be able to let go of. And that is something that can impact you greatly and your ability to be able to move your purpose forward. Because now you don't know if you can make the right decisions. So you don't want to take that chance. And that's the boundary. As herbalists, part of our responsibility is knowing when to act with plants when to step aside for emergency care. So how can we integrate, or can we integrate, right? Can we integrate both worlds of herbal medicine and the ER? The real power is not in choosing one system over the other, right? It really is understanding how to integrate them. So let's say somebody comes to you, they have a broken bone, right? The ER can come in to set the bone. Later, the client can come to you and utilize comfrey poultices and anti-inflammatory teas to kind of help speed along the healing process, right? Or let's say somebody has a severe infection that was treated with antibiotics and the ER ended up saving the life of the person. Later on, what you're going to have to do is give the clients probiotics and immune supporting herbs like astragalus and these type of things to help rebuild their system and their gut flora, right? And then let's talk about a surgery. So the ER conducts an emergency surgery. Then after that, you can utilize herbs like arnica or turmeric or any type of nervines that can kind of help support the recovery and reduce long-term discomfort. So when you combine the crisis care of modern medicine and the long-term support of herbal medicine, you really do get the best of both worlds. So that is something that you want to keep in mind. So let me give you a few quick examples. Let's say you have a child that scrapes their knee. They was outside running around, doing as children do, jumping off of porches and all that stuff. You wash it, you apply calendula or some other type of herb oil or cream, maybe a little yarrow, and it heals cleanly, no issues, no ER is needed. Another example is a friend is in a car accident and they go straight to the ER for trauma care. Later on, herbs like turmeric or different type of nervines support their body and their spirit in recovery. And then the last example is someone gets stung by a bee and they have mild swelling, redness, itchiness, this type of thing. Then you can utilize plantain, which works beautifully. But if they get to the point to where they can't breathe, that's 911. Okay? That's not a poultice. So take these quick examples to heart to give you a better understanding of how you can look at each case or situation that you may come across, especially if you're doing community herbalism and you're out working with different people with different situations, different understandings on what herbs can do, can't do, different understandings on what the emergency room can do. Because if you're doing community work, especially if you're working with a lot of the homeless population, a lot of times they want to run to the emergency room. That's their primary health care for any little thing. It doesn't matter what it is. I haven't looked at the statistics on what happens, what type of issues people are dealing with in the emergency room. But from my last conversation with a few doctors, I remember them talking about it's almost like they use it as their primary health care. So if it's a scrape, if it's a bump, if it's a bite or a sting, these type of things, they just run to the emergency room, right? A little tummy ache, run to the emergency room. So a lot of people don't understand that there are things you don't have to go to the emergency room for. There are some simple things that you can do so you don't have to do that. Let me give you a few takeaways that I want to leave you with today. Number one, herbal first aid is for minor injuries, everyday discomforts, recovery support, and preventative medicine, right? The ER is for life-threatening, severe, or rapidly worsening situations. Knowing the boundary between them is not just wisdom, it is responsibility. Herbalism is not about rejecting modern medicine and taking such a staunch stance against it, but it's about integrating ancient plant knowledge with today's resources in a way that keeps people safe and cared for. And that should be the primary goal. Do no harm first. We can't make it about us and how we feel and what we're against and who we're against and why we're against it. If we're providing services to people, we have to think about those things first. And keeping people safe, keeping people cared for is definitely important. So as you think about building your own herbal first aid kit, right? Remember this, herbs give us comfort, they give us resilience, they provide balance, they give us healing, they support us along the healing process. But when the situation turns critical, let the ER do what it was built to do. That's wisdom, that's balance, and that's true herbalism. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend, fellow herbalist, or anyone that is interested about where herbs fit in our modern world. And don't forget, stay rooted, stay wise, and stay prepared. And if you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all of my social media sites at The Demystified Herbalist. And until next time, family, I'm out.